We have a new report that reveals what the Cleveland Cavaliers are aiming to do on draft day today. They're currently active in trade talks as well as who they might be selecting if they do not trade the 29th overall pick. I'm going to talk about these new details that just recently came out here at Cavs Digest. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this Tuesday. Hope everyone's week is starting out well. Make sure you guys subscribe to this channel, as most of you guys that watch these vids are not subbed. That means you're missing out on all the Cavs content, especially because I'm posting daily this week. So if you want to keep up with all the draft news, of course, the free agency, trade rumors, and all that good stuff, this is the place to go. So I'm going to dive straight into the report that I saw today. According to this post by We Are Cavs Nation, Chris Fedor said the Cavs are exploring trades involving the number 29 overall pick. They could trade out the draft entirely or move out of the first round. What could that mean? That could mean a lot of things. That could mean that they're looking to make a big splash move, like trade a player with this pick and get another player, or they could just be looking at future assets. So they trade this year's first round for like 2 future seconds. That's what they could be doing. The Cleveland Cavaliers are already pretty snub when it comes to picks in general, due to the fact that they traded a lot for Donovan Mitchell. They've made a lot of trades over the last couple of years, at least since Koby Altman has kind of been the head guy for trades. They've kind of done a lot. So I'm going to talk about what could be the potential with this trade news, because I think that there's a lot of options for the Cleveland Cavaliers. But just before we get into the next update, this video is brought to you by none other than PrizePicks. PrizePicks is America's #1 sports picks app, and it is the best way to get in on the action. I'm going to dive into some crazy picks regarding the World Cup, as well as some cool promotions that PrizePicks is currently doing. But make sure to download the app using the link in the top of the description and pinned comment, and use code DIGEST to sign up today. New users can get $50 instantly in their lineups when playing your first $5, and it helps out the channel a ton. But now let's continue talking about it. So before I talk specifically about what the trade could be, I want to mention a player that the Cleveland Cavaliers I think is probably one of their best fits at the 29 spot. St. John's big man Zuby Ejiofor, according to Chris Fedor, is something that they truly like. He averaged 16.3 points per game, 7.3 rebounds, and 3.5 assists this past season en route to Big East Player of the Year honor. So this would be a big man fit, which I think is what the Cavaliers primarily need the most, is big man depth, which is why I talked about the UConn center. This is why Henry Vassar is someone that we've looked at as well as Koby. That's kind of where the Cavs' biggest approach will be if they keep the 29th pick. So I wanted to mention that as well before I talk more about the trade news and what could potentially happen. So there is a big player that's on the trade block. I talked yesterday about Evan Mobley, how a lot of players view him. So I think you could get a lot out of the 29th overall pick and Evan Mobley. I've talked about Evan Mobley last video, so I'm not going to dive too much into him again. But just to kind of give you guys a brief background of his playoff stats, he was one of our best players in the playoffs, in my opinion. I think that really helped his value overall. And I think that you can make a big splash move if you wanted to trade Evan Mobley and number 29. But there is a player that's on the block right now that we didn't see get traded yesterday in the Giannis deal. We know Giannis got traded. I'm going to talk more about that in the future because I'm so pissed that the Cavs didn't even try to make an offer when I think what the Heat traded was probably less than what the Cavs could have offered for Giannis, but that's a different story. I'll talk about that in tomorrow's video, probably tomorrow's video. But there's a player that is on the trade block right now that I really want the Cavs to take a shot with. It's Jaylen Brown. Now, to put this into perspective, I think Donovan Mitchell at the 1 and Jaylen Brown at the 2 is better than Harden at the 1 and Mitchell at the 2. I want to start off with that. I think if you do trade Mobley and the 29th overall pick for Jaylen Brown, you must make the biggest adjustments to the big man spot ever, because you will not have any big men. You will not have any true power forward. You will not have Jarrett Allen will be your only center. I think the Cavs should really look into adding Jaylen Brown at the starting 3 spot, because the Cleveland Cavaliers have way too many mediocre small forwards and shooting guards like Sam Merrill, Dean Wade, even Max Strus. I think Jalen Tyson should be getting more playing time. I really think that you can go with Jalen Tyson and Strus and Brown and stop playing guys like Dean Wade. Keon Ellis isn't going to get re-signed. We already know that. I'm telling you right now it's not going to happen. I doubt it's going to happen. So I'm telling you guys very straightforward right here. If the Cleveland Cavaliers want to make a splash with this 29th overall pick, which I know all signs point to the Cavs not doing nothing and keeping the same team, but if they want to trade the 29th overall pick and you want to make an immediate splash, I think you should try to shoot your shot at a guy like Jaylen Brown. Tyler Hero is also probably available. Maybe Khalil Ware is, but I doubt the Bucks are going to trade him now. But I think Tyler Hero is going to be available if you want to add someone that's less mediocre. I think the Cavs just have too many mediocre shooting guards and small forwards outside of their starting five, outside of their starting four. Harden, I guess, is above mediocre, but he's hit or miss. Mitchell, obviously, Mobley and Allen. But then you have mediocre Dean Wade, mediocre Stan Merrill, like guys that just bring you such a small sample, like a small, I guess, ceiling, like a low ceiling. You know what Sam Merrill's going to give you. Yes, if he's hitting shots, he can be on fire and go for 20, go for 6 threes, whatever. But when he's not hitting threes, he's not really doing much. Yes, he attacks sometimes. Yes, his defense has improved, but yes, he hustles, but you still have to get good value out of everyone, and I don't think the Cavs have enough right now. So I think what they should do with the 20th overall pick, I'm going to give my opinion here. I want to hear your guys' as well. I think that they should just keep it and draft a guy like Zuby or a guy like Koby or the UConn big men or Henry Vassar. I think that they can just add immediate big men depth. But I think the Cavs are worried that the 29th overall pick is nothing but a draft and stash type of deal. So I think that the Cavs just don't really seem interested in anyone in this year's draft at 29th, which is fine. But I think you could add some immediate depth to the big man spot, which they need so bad. So why don't they go ahead and just draft a big man? You can just go ahead and add a backup power forward right away. You don't have to make a trade. If you really want to just not have to worry about doing some moves, why don't you go ahead? You know they're probably going to trade Schroeder, which I'm fine with. And if you don't trade Schroeder for a guy, for some sort of valuable big man, I think you just have to draft that backup power forward or center. And I think Koby, I think Henry Vassar is there. As I said, I think Zuby, I still don't know how to say his name, but I think that there are plenty of backup depth options where you can just kind of plug and play in the backup big man spot and utilize that in the draft. So I think the Cavs can just sit and settle on 29 and take a player. But if they are going to trade out of the draft, you better get a player out of it. If you trade this pick for a bunch of seconds, for like 2 seconds, or a future first, you are an absolute moron. Unless it's like next year's Utah's first or something, or like next year of trash team's first, then maybe I can see it. But as of right now, I don't see a world in which this 29th overall pick can be traded for much unless it is a player. So that's my opinion. Because as I said, I think the Cavs have a lot of options in their backup spot, in the backup big man spot. But as I said, I want to talk about some PrizePicks, World Cup picks. PrizePicks also has some really cool promotions going on. Flex Friday. Every Friday you can boost. You can use your Flex Friday payout boost to get a 40% higher payout every Friday. Go ahead and take advantage of that. As well as Taco Tuesday, where the board is serving up discounted projections on Tuesday all day long. That's today, by the way. So if you want to earn some extra bucks and on PrizePicks, this is a good time to utilize it. But with that being said, that is all I have today. The Cavs likely might trade this 29th overall pick, so be prepared for today's draft. I will be talking about the draft after it happens, so we'll dive into that as well. But thank you guys so much for joining me. Comment below your thoughts. Like this video, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to the channels. All are totally free. I am at Palange. Thank you guys so much for joining me here on Cavs Digest.